Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weed News. I am your host, Mike Cannon. 2 apologies right off the bat. Number 1, for this shirt. I don't know what I was thinking. I had a swell of self-esteem for a moment and thought I could pull it off. I look like a gay guy on a cruise, like Robin Williams in Birdcage. Just either way, I'm blowing somebody. Second apology. For last week, no episode. My bad, but some life shit got in the way, which leads us into our first segment, What Not to Do While Weeded. Finding out your dad had a stroke while high. The interesting thing about the experience, like you guys have seen on this show, my dad and I haven't always gotten along. In fact, the last third of my life has been mainly not talking to each other, but we just started speaking. So, you know how the movie story goes. Oh, they just started talking and reacquainting themselves, and then it's, Dad, what are you doing? As he collapses on a snowbank, clutching his heart. And if you take offense to these jokes, or you think, Mike, you know what, maybe you should feel some feelings instead of constantly cracking wise. Well, this is how I cope. I'm not a typical human being, or maybe I am. I need to push away negative feelings so that I can survive on this earth. Even my mom couldn't believe it, who has been divorced from my dad for several years, but she found the news, took it mildly hard, and was like, Ma, come on. I know you're fucking fist pumping to dance music in your apartment right now. Don't act like you're pissed off. And she's like, I don't know what I gave birth to, because that seems like the brain work of a psychopath. Even my friends brought several bottles of booze, which I thought was very thoughtful and also hindered the emotional process as well. Also offered me pizza. We ordered some pizza together, all this comfort food, but they were like, hey man, you want another slice of pizza? And I was like, can't do it, gotta look good in the suit for the funeral. They were appalled and didn't know how to react to that, but again, I need to deal with this. And where does it come from, you may ask? Well, I went to visit my dad, and my sister gifted him with a book because he's gonna spend long hours in the hospital recovering from the surgery. So she handed it to him, and the first thing he said was, what's the title? How to Face Death with Enthusiasm? Clearly, the sickness has come from it somewhere. On to our next story. On Friday, 31-year-old Ross Ulbricht, Dread Pirate Roberts, that's his nerd name. Is that his avatar? It's like the Predator with dreadlocks and then nerd hipster horn-rimmed glasses. Either way, he just got sentenced to life in prison without parole for operating a website where you can buy and sell drugs called Silk Road. The only reason this guy is serving life in prison is because he innovated a new financial system. Traditional banking and commerce is how the lizards wearing powdered wigs enslave the masses. If we, me and Ross, innovators of our time, start dictating a new market, then that means their system becomes moot and they no longer Geppetto hold our strings like marionettes. Just, well, dance for me, boys, dance for me. There's no way Geppetto didn't sneak a wooden boy BJ every once in a while, right? Come on, I would sit on that kid's face and make him tell lies constantly. But seriously, Robert Ulbricht will never see the light of day in prison. He's gonna be like Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can.
Or the man in the iron mask.
By the way, if you didn't know, producer Joe is here. And why wouldn't he interject with his own opinions considering he's been here for 8% of the episodes? Keep the good ideas rolling, Joey. It's not like we have a fucking formula. The reason I bring up Catch Me If You Can and not the man in the iron mask, you side-talking son of a bitch, is because the government is gonna offer him protection and going to ensure that he doesn't get pin-cushioned in prison so he can teach them his method so they can eventually use it against the people. And I know the spotlighted reason for why he's receiving life in prison is because he supposedly ordered hits on people through his own website. Well, as Biggie Smalls says, when you're at the top, man, people want to take you. People want to take you out, you gotta, pop off the spot, man. I don't think that's an actual quote and a horrible impression, but nonetheless, thank you very much, everybody, for watching another episode of The Weed News. Please subscribe down below over here. Also, follow me on Twitter at I am Mike Cannon. I'm coming with the heat these days, baby. Please listen to my podcast, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Like most of you know, we talk about corruption, conspiracy, consciousness expansion. We just did a fantastic episode rehashing a recent mushroom trip that was facilitated via Girl Scout cookies. Also, check out standupnylabs.com for all of their podcasts and video shows. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. See you next week.